Welcome to the Strengthening the Mind channel. Did you know that the difference between giving up and succeeding lies in the strength of your mind? Every video here is fuel for your transformation journey. Today, you're going to discover something that can completely change your perspective. And today's theme is the addiction to being busy. The addiction to busy. When was the last time you did nothing? Not watching TV, not scrolling through feeds, not listening to podcasts, literally doing nothing, just sitting, breathing, existing. If you can't remember, or if the idea makes you uncomfortable, maybe you need to hear this. If you're here right now, maybe it's because you recognize this pattern of always having something to do, always being busy, always having a to-do list that never ends. And I need to tell you, you're not alone in this hamster wheel. And this constant need to be busy isn't about being productive. It's about running from yourself. This video isn't about laziness or doing less. It's about something much deeper. It's about the difference between healthy productivity and busyness as escape. It's about understanding that always being busy isn't moving you forward. It's preventing you from feeling what you need to feel. Here on the Strengthening the Mind channel, we talk about patterns disguised as productivity that are actually prisons. And if you stay until the end, you'll discover why you can't stop, what you're avoiding, and how to start living instead of just doing. The fear of emptiness. There's an addiction we celebrate. It's the anxiety of always being busy, of having 1,000 projects, of not having a free minute. People praise you for it. They call you productive, dedicated, ambitious. But inside, you know the truth. You're not busy because you love what you do. You're terrified to stop, because when you stop, when you get quiet, something uncomfortable starts to appear. Thoughts you don't want to think, feelings you don't want to feel, questions you don't want to answer. Maybe you wake up already checking emails, spend the day jumping from task to task. And when work finally ends, you're already consuming content, planning the next project, answering messages. You don't rest. You just switch distractions. And in those rare moments when you have nothing to do, you feel anxiety, that discomfort of not being productive, that guilt of wasting time. So you quickly find something to fill the void. The problem isn't wanting to do things. It's not being able to not do. It's using busy as a drug, as escape, as a way to never have to be with yourself without distractions. What you're avoiding. But here's the question no one asks. What are you so desperate to avoid? Because this compulsive need to always be busy didn't come out of nowhere. It's serving a purpose. It's protecting you from something. Maybe you're avoiding loneliness, that silence where you'd have to face feeling disconnected, alone, misunderstood. As long as you're busy, you don't have to feel it. Or maybe you're avoiding existential questions. Am I doing what really matters? Am I living the life I want? Am I happy? These are scary questions, and being busy is the perfect excuse to never answer them. Or maybe you learned that your value is in what you produce, that you're only as valuable as your output, creating something, achieving goals. And stopping means losing your value. What happens is you've created an identity based on being busy. Busy isn't what you do anymore. It's who you are. And the idea of not doing scares you because you don't know who you are anymore without the to-do list. And here's the cruel irony. You're so busy staying busy that life is passing you by. You're so focused on producing that you've lost touch with what really matters, with who you are beyond what you do. But there's another way, a way where you can be productive when it makes sense and rest without guilt when you need to, where you don't need to always be doing to feel valid. And that's what we're going to talk about now. Productivity versus escape. The good news is you can break out of this cycle, and it happens through 3 fundamental shifts. First, learning to differentiate healthy productivity from toxic busyness. Second, understanding the difference between real rest and just trading one distraction for another. And third, allowing yourself moments of doing nothing without guilt or anxiety. These three shifts give you back something you lost in the rush: the ability to simply be alive, not just busy. Healthy productivity versus toxic busyness. Let's start by understanding the fundamental difference. Real productivity has a point. You know why you're doing what you're doing. There's intention, there's choice, and when you finish, there's satisfaction. Toxic busy is motion without meaning. It's filling time because you're afraid of emptiness. It's running on a treadmill. Lots of motion, zero progress. And when you stop, you only feel anxiety and exhaustion. Healthy productivity energizes. You work and feel fulfilled. Toxic busyness drains. You work and only feel empty, wanting more distractions. The difference isn't in what you do. It's in the why. It's whether you're choosing or running. It's whether there's space for pause, or if it's an infinite cycle without breath. Start observing your patterns. When you're doing something, ask, why am I doing this now? Because it's important, or because I don't want to stop? If the honest answer is, I don't want to stop, you're using busyness as escape. And here's what changes everything. You can choose to stop. You can finish a task and not start another immediately. You can have a free hour and not fill it. It feels wrong at first. Then, it feels like freedom. Real rest versus distraction. The second transformation is understanding that swapping your work screen for Netflix isn't rest. Trading productivity for infinite scrolling isn't a break. It's just busy wearing a different mask, of keeping your mind always consuming, always stimulated, always running from silence. Real rest is when you allow your mind and body to be quiet, without constant external stimulus, without needing to fill every second with content. It's being present, not chasing the next dopamine hit. It could be a walk without a podcast. It could be sitting and looking out the window. It could be lying down without grabbing your phone. It could be just breathing and existing for a few minutes. And this will seem absurdly difficult at first, because you're hooked on stimulation. You've trained your brain to need constant input, always something to do. And when you remove that, there's real withdrawal. But it's in this quietness that important things happen. It's when you process emotions. It's when you have real insights. It's when you reconnect with yourself. It's when you truly rest. Start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes of doing absolutely nothing. No phone, no book, no music, just you. And observe what appears. It might be anxiety. It might be boredom. It might be discomfort. That's the withdrawal. Sit with it. Permission to do nothing. And the third shift is about giving yourself something our culture never gave you. Permission to just be. Permission to have value even when you're not doing anything, because you were taught that you're only as valuable as your output, that you need to justify your existence through achievements, through work, through always doing something useful. And that's a cruel lie. You don't need to earn the right to rest. You don't need to be exhausted to deserve a break. You don't need to produce to have value. Your existence is enough. And when you internalize this, something fundamental changes. You stop feeling guilty for resting. You stop feeling anxious about not being busy. You start understanding that doing nothing isn't wasted time. It's the most human thing you can do. Create intentional moments of doing nothing. Put it in your calendar if you need to. Saturday at 3 p.m. Nothing. And when the time comes, honor it. Don't fill it with just one quick task. Just do nothing. And when the guilt comes, when that voice says you're being lazy, remember, resting isn't laziness. It's basic human need. And you deserve it as much as you deserve air. And here's the transformation. When you stop using busyness as escape, when you learn to truly rest, when you allow yourself to do nothing, you finally start living. Not just existing in the rush, but living with presence, with purpose, with peace. Let's talk now about what this life looks like on the other side of the addiction to being busy. The freedom of simply being. Now, let's talk about what happens when you truly break out of this cycle. When you stop using busyness as escape. When you learn to be at peace in silence. At first, it's going to be extremely uncomfortable. You'll sit down to do nothing and immediately want to grab your phone. You'll have a free moment and feel that anxiety of needing to do something. Your body will crave stimulus because it's used to it. But then something extraordinary starts to happen. You sit still for 5 minutes, and the world doesn't end. You have a free afternoon and don't have an existential crisis. You truly rest and wake up more renewed than when you were relaxing on Netflix. The changes start showing up everywhere in your life. You notice you're more present in conversations because you're not mentally planning the next task. You feel emotions instead of running from them through busyness. You start having clarity about what really matters. You also discover your work actually improves. Because now you work intentionally, not compulsively. You're all in when you work and actually off when you rest. And turns out half present all the time beats fully present sometimes. Your relationships improve. People feel you're really there, not just physically present while your mind is in 1,000 places. And you connect in deeper ways because you're no longer using busyness to avoid intimacy. And here's the deepest transformation. You remember who you are underneath all the doing. You realize your identity isn't in your tasks, in your achievements, in your full schedule. You exist, and that's enough. The silence you ran from becomes where you find yourself. The quietness that gave you anxiety now brings you peace, and you finally understand that life isn't about cramming in more. It's about showing up for what counts. So if you're burned out from the constant motion, if you're tired of never being able to stop, I want you to know, you can get out of this. You can learn to rest without guilt. You can exist without needing to justify every moment. Here's your first step. Today, carve out 15 minutes of absolutely nothing. Not meditate, not plan, not think productively. Just exist. Sit, breathe, and let the boredom hit. Let the discomfort surface. Don't run. And notice that you survive. Before you go, tell me in the comments, how much time do you spend actually doing nothing? Without your phone, without consuming content, just existing. I want to hear from you, because recognizing the pattern is the first step to changing it. If this video touched something real in you, hit that like button now. A like is the fastest way to tell me this content makes sense and helps the algorithm take this message to more people who are also struggling with this. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now to the Strengthening the Mind channel. Your subscription isn't just a number. It's what allows this channel to grow and keep producing content that actually matters, that actually transforms. Every week, we talk about how to break free from the patterns that imprison us. And share this video with someone who needs to hear it too. Because sometimes we don't know we need a message until it arrives. Because in the end, life isn't found in the doing. It's found in the being. And stop running, and you might finally catch what you've been chasing. And if you want to continue this journey of getting out of the race and back to life, click on the cards showing up now, or check out the channel's playlist. There are several other videos about living with more presence and less anxiety. This is Strengthening the Mind, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay present, and remember, you don't need to do anything to deserve to exist.